rules of chivalry. The one that suggested men should never let clueless women go walking into dark places by themselves. Marie hadn't realized she had spent so much time doing her walkthrough before Scott arrived. It was now late in the day, and there was just enough daylight breaking through the dusk to allow Marie to see across the yard without the aid of a flashlight or porch light. Still, she was walking directly into the shadow of a large house, and it was getting a little creepy. The closer she got to the raised lamp in the yard, the more she could see that there was a somewhat definite shape beneath it all. Something sort of square and a little taller than she was. It was located about 15 feet or so away from the little storage shed, but the shed had been well maintained and spared from whatever wild growth was covering the other shape. When she neared it, she realized that it was another small building of some kind. Pulling aside a series of weeds and thin wooden vine, she saw that it was a small greenhouse. It currently served as a barrier of sorts separating the back corner of the yard from the scrub brush and little strip of beachside forest that hid the house away from the rest of the town. It was mostly hidden by vines, briars, wildflowers, and weeds. While she was not especially adept to any sort of gardening, she supposed that she had the skills to tear down some weeds. She wondered if there was anything in the little shed that she could use to tidy the greenhouse up. With Boo by her side, she ventured over to the little white shed and opened it. The doors came open with a screech. The interior smelled of dirt and old gasoline. There was a riding lawnmower parked along the side, a weed eater hung from the far wall, and a few bags of mulch sat along the wooden floor. It all looked muted and hazy in the growing darkness outside. When she stepped inside, she nearly set her foot down on a snake. At least that's what she thought it was. She didn't realize that it was only a snake skin until after she let out a scream that was probably heard all over Port Bliss. She tumbled out of the shed, tripped over her feet, and landed on her backside. Pooh came running over to make sure she was okay. He offered a lick to the face as a means of comfort. Meanwhile, Scott Punch had certainly heard the scream, yet he was not coming to check on her. As far as she knew, he was still on the patio, enjoying the ocean view. "Thanks, Boo," she said with wincing. "Wanna go in there and see if there is anything else that's going to give me a heart attack?" Marie got back up and returned to the shed, saying a little prayer that all snakes and other unwanted critters would stay far away. She did her best to ignore the snake skin as she took inventory of the shed. In addition to the weed eater, there were also some pruning shears and clippers on a little bench in the back, as well as a small but daintily decorated toolbox. In it, she found a pair of work gloves that were a bit too large for her she had the doll stuff taken down, she went for the weed eater. She couldn't get it to start no matter what she tried, so she used her phone to Google some troubleshooting solutions. She was finally able to get it running and slowly finished the tidy up work around the greenhouse. With a mental inventory of tools in her head, she ventured back to the greenhouse. She decided right there and then that this would be one of her personal projects. She knew next to nothing about gardening, wasn't even remotely sure where to start. When it comes to repairing the greenhouse, but she was going to get it done regardless. She walked back to the patio and saw that Scott was indeed still there. She was irritated that he had not moved a muscle to see why she had screamed, or that he did not seem to be all that interested in what the green lamp had been. So what was it? She smiled as she sat down. I think it might be one of my first projects, she answered. The smile remained on her face, knowing that beginning tomorrow the real work would start, and with it the start of a dream she had ever since setting up Marie's big bright bed and breakfast in her bedroom as a child. Scott arrived the following day, true to his word. Marie had expected lots of commotion and noise, but what she had not expected was to venture upstairs an hour after Scott arrived and find an enormous hole in the wall. Marie asked, stumbling over her words, "What? Why? What was this all about?" Scott had brought two men with him, both of whom had taken the time to marvel at the house before hunkering down and getting to work. They looked like they could be brothers, with the exception of one being exceptionally white and the other being obviously Hispanic. Their names were Ralph and Benjamin. Benjamin introduced himself with a Spanish translation of the name, which sounded like Benjamin. Ralph and Benjamin both looked at her like deer in headlights as Marie glared at the wall. Scott stood between them, holding out the calming hand. When one of them made the Catholic sign of the cross on his chest, she wasn't so much offended as she was shocked. Scott said, "It's okay, it looks worse than it is. We're just looking for that faulty pipe. Better now than a year or so down the road when it's leaking bad enough to damage the floor and walls." Marie nodded, and in that moment realized it might be for the best if she kept her nose out of Scott's work while he and his crew were on site. She turned to leave, but was stopped by Scott. "Miss Fortune, can I speak to you for 1 second?" "Sure. You need my permission to tear down another hole?" He chuckled nervously at this, and he led her away from Ralph and Benjamin. "No, not yet anyway. Listen, I was very sorry to push so hard on the ghost stuff yesterday. Look, it's not really a big deal. I've been hearing it since I was a kid. It's a small town. Rumors tend to grow legs and then roots." He said, "Yeah, it's right. I do want to ask one more thing. is occupying her mind right now was the last thing she needed. So let it go and let Scott do his work. Boo, on the other hand, seemed very happy with all of his new people and stuff in commotion. He kept a respectable distance, finding a seat right at the top of the stairs, while Scott and his men continued to work, trying to get the image of the large hole in the wall out of her mind, as well as Scott's forbidden question. Marie grabbed her laptop and headed out to the patio. In doing so, she realized just how badly she needed the movers to arrive. She had 2 changes of clothes, her toothbrush and some toothpaste, her laptop, her phone, and that was it. She had nearly forgotten about the relief of having received the call from Brown Brothers last night, letting her know that someone had already asked to take over her apartment. It gave her a bit of a spring in her step as she walked outside with her laptop, knowing that the hassle of getting rid of her apartment was already taken care of, and that she soon have actual clothes and her belongings back with her. She set up a little makeshift office on the patio, placing her phone and laptop on the picnic table. She then started working on the project she had started setting up last night when her nerves would simply not let her sleep. She had started setting up a website. It was nothing special, something she put together herself by using an expensive service and some YouTube tutorials. She also spent some time researching other B&Bs in the area to see what was popular. She put the site together step by step, running inside a few times to get some flattering shots of the place to include. Then, around 3 o'clock, about the same time Scott and his men had finished putting a new shower upstairs, Marie took the next big step. She said a little prayer, clicked her laptop mouse a few times, and wrapped it all up. A message appeared on her screen, and it made her stomach do a million flips. Your website is live. June Manor was now listed as an active bed and breakfast. It would start taking reservations right away, though the earliest for a reservation was June 1st, just 3 weeks away. And if the last few days were any indication, time on Port Bliss seemed to pass by incredibly fast. With that in mind, Marie looked back to the list on her phone. She saw one more thing she could potentially get started on today: painting the upstairs bedrooms. Painting wasn't her favorite thing in the world to do, but she had some experience with it, including the tedious process of painting DeAndre's bed pads. And if she could paint to please DeAndre's standards, she must be pretty good. She looked down to the message on her computer one more time. Your website is live. Her bed and breakfast, tentatively titled June Manor, was now an actual business. There was no going back, no more excuses. The dream she had had forever was hers now.